Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Okay, so have you ever actually stopped and wondered how we made this massive leap from those old, rigid machines that just blindly punch holes in metal all the way to the incredibly nimble robots we see navigating totally chaotic warehouses today? Well, we are looking at exactly that. The evolution of robots from rigid, dumb hardware to highly intelligent, adaptable entities. Let's just dive right in and see how this is completely rewriting the rules of automation. You see, for decades, a robot was basically just a giant, heavy metal arm playing out a fixed script. It was literally a blind, pre-programmed piece of hardware that repeated the exact same movement millions of times. It was completely oblivious to its surroundings. But today? Today we've got seeing, reacting machines. They actively process their environment and adapt on the fly, in real time. It's a total game changer.
Section 1. From rigid to reactive.
So here's the fundamental problem. The real world doesn't play out on a perfectly organized grid, right? Things get bumped, objects fall, people walk in the way unexpectedly. And those old, rigid robotics, they fail the absolute second something unexpected happens. So to actually survive in an unpredictable world, robots need what engineers call closed-loop autonomy. This is the capability of modern robots to constantly sense their environment and react to it in real time. Let me tell you, it is the absolute holy grail of automation right now.
To really wrap our heads around this, we need to compare it to how things used to be done. Over on the left, we've got open-loop control. Now think of an open-loop system like making a completely blind guess. It executes a fixed sequence of actions without ever bothering to check the actual result. It just sort of blindly assumes everything went perfectly. But over on the right, that's our closed-loop control. A closed-loop system is like a perfectionist. It is constantly checking its actual results. It continuously measures its own output and compares it directly against a desired target. And if it misses the mark, well, it instantly knows it.
Section 2. The closed-loop core.
Okay, so how exactly does a mechanical system realize that it needs to course correct? Well, it relies entirely on what's called the error signal. In engineering terms, any difference between the measured output and your actual target is simply an error signal. The controller inside the machine takes this exact mathematical difference and uses it to constantly adjust the system's behavior. It's continually correcting its course in real time until that error signal drops all the way down to zero.
If that sounds a bit abstract, just think of the classic everyday closed-loop mental model. A simple household thermostat. We all have one, right? You set a target temperature, let's say 72 degrees. The thermostat continuously measures the actual temperature in the room. Now, if it's currently 70 degrees, boom, you have an error signal of exactly 2 degrees. The system reacts by kicking on the heat, and it continuously checks the error until the room hits 72. That exact same fundamental logic is applied to incredibly complex robotics.
Now, for massive industrial robots, a simple on and off switch like your home thermostat just isn't anywhere near precise enough. That brings us to something called PID control. That stands for proportional, integral, and derivative control. It is hands down the most widely used closed-loop method out there to ensure that a massive, heavy robotic arm reaches its exact intended position smoothly, all without absolutely destroying whatever it's trying to grab.
Let's break down how this PID cycle builds into the perfect movement. It's actually a really elegant three-step process. Step 1 is the proportional term. This reacts to the current error, basically pushing harder the further the arm is from the target. Step 2 is the integral term. This corrects for accumulated past error, making sure the arm doesn't just get stuck right before the finish line. And finally, step 3, the derivative term. This actually predicts future error based on the rate of change. When you put them all together, they allow a super fast-moving robot to brake smoothly right at its target, totally avoiding any violent overshoot or unwanted wobbly oscillation.
Section 3. Vision and adaptive intelligence. So PID handles that basic smooth movement, but what happens when the actual environment changes on the fly? Well, that's where we need adaptive control. This is what allows a system to automatically adjust its own control parameters as unpredictable conditions change. A modern warehouse robot doesn't just move blindly in a straight line anymore. It adapts on the fly to seamlessly navigate around people, dodge dropped boxes, and ultimately survive in totally chaotic, unpredictable environments.
To pull this off, robots obviously needed a massive upgrade in how they perceive the world. First, we gave them computer vision. This allows modern robots to literally see their surroundings, identifying spatial layouts and unexpected obstacles. Second, we integrate deep neural networks. These incredibly powerful networks process all that heavy visual data instantly. It lets robots recognize objects and make split-second decisions at lightning speed. Honestly, way faster than any traditional manual rule-based programming could ever even hope to achieve.
Picture a bustling factory floor for a second. Imagine you've got a bin totally full of mechanical parts, just jumbled together in a huge mess. In the old days, every single part had to be precisely placed by hand in advance, just so the blind robot could pick it up. Well, problem solved. Today, thanks to this combo of computer vision and neural networks, a factory robot can just look at a randomly oriented, messy part in a bin, calculate its exact angle, and adjust its grip in real time to grab it perfectly. No precise advanced placement needed whatsoever.
Section 4. The real-world application.
Let's zoom out for a second and look at the macro scale here. These advanced closed-loop systems are fundamentally reshaping massive global industries as we speak. Think about autonomous vehicles. They rely heavily on closed-loop sensing to continuously adjust steering, braking, and acceleration based on real-time sensor data. Then you've got those crazy-legged robots like the robotic dogs you've probably seen running around on social media. They use closed-loop balance control to instantly adjust their posture in response to uneven terrain. I mean, that is physically impossible with old fixed pre-programmed movements. And finally, we have cobots, or collaborative robots.
I want to highlight cobots specifically for a minute because they represent such a huge leap forward in human-robot interaction. Cobots rely on closed-loop force sensing so they can actually work right alongside human operators safely. If a human accidentally bumps into a cobot's arm, the system immediately detects that unexpected resistance and instantly stops or reverses its motion. This prevents dangerous collisions and serves as an absolutely critical safety feature in modern, shared workspaces. It's brilliant.
And if you're wondering why this matters to the broader global economy, just take a look at these numbers. The factory automation market is projected to pretty much double, jumping from roughly $227 billion in 2025 to a staggering $461 billion by 2031. This massive, explosive financial boom is being driven directly by the industrial demand for robots that are actually capable of adapting to variable, messy, real-world working conditions.
Section 5. The future of training. Okay, so we now have this incredible hardware and really powerful AI, but here's the final engineering hurdle. How do we actually safely and efficiently teach these highly complex mechanical systems to do their jobs? The answer lies in something called reinforcement learning. This is a branch of AI that's increasingly used to train adaptive control systems through trial and error, all happening in simulated environments. Instead of a human manually programming every possible physical scenario, we just create these elaborate virtual training grounds.
Millions. That's the key word here, and it represents a total paradigm shift. Through reinforcement learning, a robot can practice a complex physical task literally millions of times in a computer simulation before it ever even attempts it on actual, expensive physical hardware. It tries, it fails, it learns, and it improves, all virtually. This approach completely slashes the financial risk and the massive costs that used to be associated with physically training robots to do these complex tasks.
So when you put all of this together, the closed-loop error checking, the PID control, the computer vision, and the reinforcement learning, what you get is the ultimate shift. We're moving completely away from rigid, predictable, blind automation, and we're stepping directly into a future built entirely around genuinely intelligent, reactive mechanical systems. It's just incredible to see.
Which naturally leads us to a pretty fascinating final thought. We've seen how these modern robots use sensors to look outward, right? To navigate around warehouses, to grab messy parts, and to avoid crashing into humans. But I really want to leave you with this question. If robots can sense their environment to avoid collisions, can they turn those sensors inward? Can they actually sense their own internal parts to prevent their own mechanical failure before it even happens? That is a brilliantly provocative question, and it is exactly what we'll be unpacking in our next explainer on predictive maintenance. Thank you so much for learning with me today.